Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Nikita Turk, host of Threads of Voices, and on this very special episode, I'm joined by 3 junior hosts. Hello, what are your names?
I'm Adele, and I'm 9 years old.
Hi, I'm Emerson, and I'm 9 years old.
Hi, I'm Sawyer, and I am 10 years old.
So great to meet you and to be joined by you, little professional hosts. And today we'll be interviewing children's author Angel Patterson, author of the new children's book, The Lonely Ghost. Did you get a chance to read the book?
Yes.
Did we like it?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what was your favorite thing about the book?
My favorite thing is that Mummy was very kind to Gully, even though she's adopted, and that at the end, Gully meets children, like human children, who gets her and is very nice to her.
Okay, so my favorite thing is that Ghoulie made friends. And I just didn't like how Ghoulie was getting bullied, so I really liked that she made friends at the end.
My favorite part was the illustrations and also how the illustrations connected with the book. And I'm very happy that Ghoulie made friends and felt love.
Yeah.
Me too. It was hard watching Ghoulie get bullied.
So for my first question is, what do you hope kids will take away from your book?
I think the most important takeaway from The Lonely Ghost is the message of individuality. As individuals, we're going to try things over and over again, and we should keep going until we get it right. You'll hear a lot of opinions about how others say it should get done, but I think as long as it gets done and it's all you at the end of the day, that's, I think, the most important message from The Lonely Ghost.
So for my second question is, what character do you most relate to and why?
I would have to say I relate to Ghoulie the most. She was inspired by me as a little girl. The extrovert you see is not always who I have been. When I was a little kid, I was just as shy and sensitive as Ghoulie, and she definitely still exists within me.
That was beautiful. So my
Thank you.
third question is, how has your mother supported you like Mummy has supported Ghoulie?
So Mummy is actually a compilation of my mom and my dad. My dad adopted me when I was 12. And so Mummy has characteristics that are similar to both of them. She got my dad's sentimentality and my mom's fierce spirit. But I would say her overall message of be proud of who you are and show others what you're made of definitely comes from both of them, but that is a fierce Southern mother kind of attitude. And so Mummy's very warm about it. My mom was like, get out there, get in their face, kind of about it. And great job interviewing Adele.
Thank you.
Okay, so my 3 questions. 1, why didn't Ghoulie ever meet her parents?
So that, it wasn't intentionally left blank at first. I think it just kind of happened that way. But I think moving forward, it will be intentionally left undecided. Just because there's so many reasons that could happen. And any kid that's reading this that maybe also hasn't met one or both of their parents, I think it's important for them to be able to fill in their own blank there. So the question is, I'm not sure. I know my story.
That's really nice. I just like stories that have like a mystery in them. My second
Oh, me
question
too.
is, why did you make why did you make Ghoulie's mummy a mummy?
I wrote it that way because it was pretty close to Halloween time, and I'm obsessed with Halloween, hence the ghost sweater as well. So Also, as a big lover of puns, it just fit kind of beautifully. So,
Speaking of puns, that's actually my third question. So, my third question is, why did you make puns like beautiful or bullies, something like that?
yes, ma'am. Well, there's a thing I call Texas speak. Being a Southerner, we have a very like clever way with our words, and that was important to me to keep in the book as well because boo is a large term of endearment down here. And so beautiful, bullies, it played with the Halloween theme and also kind of allowed me to express myself.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like
Thank you, Emerson. Great
that. You're
questions.
welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
So, my first question is, what was the inspiration behind this book?
The inspiration, so it started with the beginning of my journey at Mentor Promise. I had never written a book before. I wrote a lot in my journal and was just crazy about writing all throughout school. And similar to Emerson, I have had a lot of unfinished projects in my life, and so it was important to me to finish one. And it took me to places I never imagined, but the inspiration was first and foremost you guys. Even if I didn't know y'all yet, I saw kids like you. I saw my little sisters. I saw my siblings. And in each of them, I also saw myself. And so I thought, like, what are the messages a kid might need to hear? And I think in today's world of everybody trying to copy each other to fit in, it's more important than ever to be yourself. And Guli learns a lot about that.
That was a very nice answer.
Thank you, Sawyer. Great question.
So, my second question is, how did you picture the original images of Ghoulie?
That is such a great question. Because I do illustrate in my free time, but I don't illustrate with Mentor Promise because we have so many talented illustrators already. So when I wrote her and then when I wrote the story, I wanted it to be as openly creative as it could be. So the first person that illustrated it was Isabella Weisflog. She was having some issues with her hand, and so she didn't stay with us throughout the whole journey, but she did get us our first finalized image of Ghoulie, and we kind of discussed a little bit, but more than anything, I wanted Ghoulie to look like a little kid, like she's got her cute little ponytail, her little bow, and I I didn't imagine Ghoulie to look anything like she does. I think she just looked like a simple ghost in my head, and so Isabella really like gave her charm and her kid likeness.
So, my third question is, did you use your experiences as a child to connect with this book, including the illustrations?
Yes, I absolutely did. So the illustrations, those were at the liberty or the freedom of those that got to design it. But as far as the experience goes, 100%. My mom and I had some trouble communicating. And when I was writing this, I just was thinking to myself of like, you know, I hope my mom knows how much I appreciate her at the end of the day. And so, excuse me, I'm going to get a little teary eyed, but writing this book, like, just did get to show her like who she is in my life. So, yeah, it's very centered around my experiences and all the love that I hope to share.
Wow, you're gonna make me get teared up. Wow, that's a very good answer.
No, we'll all start crying.
Yeah.
So now that our junior hosts have hopped off, I want to dig a little bit deeper into just a little bit more about you and your journey. And the first thing that comes to mind, which you kind of touched on a little bit before, the main character faces bullying from other ghosts because her family looks different from their families. Why do you feel like it was important for you to tell that story through monsters and magical creatures instead of using ordinary kids who are bullied as well?
So I would say there's a little bit more of a correlation than a causation on that. Like it just kind of turned out that way. Like a little bit serendipitous because I do firmly believe in facing your fears. Because even the scariest things, if you can break it down into manageable steps. Sometimes when working with bullies or people, those manageable steps are the small conversations or the small comments, right? Addressing them head on. So I think it just kind of worked out perfectly on that part, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the kind of like the sweet, cute, relatable character makes it a little bit easier for kids to kind of conceptualize sometimes.
Yeah, I sure hope so. Because I would say like that persona. I don't know if this touches on another question, so if it does, you feel free to stop me. But the aspect, okay, cool. The aspect of Ghoulie being very timid, that was a very short time in my life. I got the right influences ahead of time, and then it turned into like you could ask about my high school reputation. I was not known for being very nice, and it was because I faced people's bullies. You know what I mean? And so I felt like it was
Yeah.
such an important topic because sometimes like doing what's right doesn't look very cute, And
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. And it's not always glorified or cool to do what's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Adoption is such an important thread in this book. How did you approach writing about chosen family in a way that kids could emotionally connect with and actually understand?
Yes. So more so, I think what happened was just I shared the delight in it, and then it kind of just shined a light on something much darker, which is exactly how I like take on serious issues anyways, is just like exuding the light that's in myself, and then understanding and comfort happens naturally. I think a lot of um material or content made for kids is like made with this very strict intention of like we have to get them to understand what bullying means. We have to get them to understand this, but kids flow. And so as a giant child myself, like I want to do the same.
I hope all of us stay giant children.
I do too. Stay young, Nikita.
Thank
Which
you.
looks like it's already working, by the way. The skin's glowing, so.
There you go. Thank you. It's the Savannah heat.
Of course. Oh, okay. Yep.
So, one of the things that I feel like makes this story so powerful is that these characters who may traditionally feel scary, like a ghost or a mummy, they're typically painted as scary characters, are actually super cute and lovable and really vulnerable. What are you hoping that kids, when they read this, will learn about judging others from appearance?
Yeah. It's so natural to do. I don't know if it's like conditioned or if it's a biological thing in us to judge everything based on what we see. Like that's a very natural process. But I would say having been the scary individual, or like my mom having been the scary individual to others. Like, it's always been like, you get to know us a little bit better and we're not that scary, you know? And so I hope that kids learn to pay attention more to actions rather than the first appearances, and like listen to words, but actions are like top tier information about somebody, you know?
So, one of the things that you touched on is sort of your personal experience with bullying. How do you think that parents can approach conversations with their children, either those being bullied or those who are actively being the bully?
Mm. So for those being bullied, actually, I think I'm going to have a bit of a similar answer for both, because I do think that the root cause is some sort of issue with self esteem. So if you're unable to stand up for yourself and you're being bullied, you might be lacking the self worth and feeling like you don't have power against those that are teasing you. But while we may not be able to stop another person's actions, we can know that whatever is going on with them is not about me. And as long as I'm like feeling secure in myself, that's important. So I think those conversations at home for the kids being bullied would be exactly that. Like, understand that what they're going through is not about you, and still shine your light, you know? And that's going to mean different things for different families, you know? Um, but that would be my general message. And for those that are being the bully, same thing. It's reflecting a mirror towards yourself and saying, why do I feel the need to pick on this person that is an easy target, or they're smaller than me? It's because somewhere in my life I feel powerless, and this gives me power. And so if I was a parent at home, honestly, modeling's a huge thing. So chances are, if a kid is being a bully, their parents might be a bully too, whether they're like bullying them or they bully other people. And so it might be a generational trend of self-esteem issues. But that's why this message of individuality is so, so important to me, is because it's essential to who we are, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to embrace self. I like that idea of, you said, reflect a mirror back on yourself. And I think that that holds true for a lot of things. A little bit of self awareness can go a long way in a lot of different aspects of
Yes.
life.
Amen. Yes.
So, kind of like the bullying and the chosen family, these are some pretty heavy topics, and you've balanced them really well with humor. How did you find that balance of being able to introduce these pretty heavy concepts, but keep it fun and light and make it a genuinely enjoyable, likable story?
Again, that's another great question, and I'm giggling because if you ask like any of my friends or family members, like I'm the class clown. I'm the I'm the like the tension breaker. There's no conversation too big. There's nothing too awkward, and if it is awkward, I'm charging right at it. And so I think I think that just also kind of happened naturally, just because like I'm more concerned with having fun than anything else. But there's a section in this book called The Alchemist, where they're talking about carrying a spoon of oil through this beautiful home. And he's like, I want you to like don't drop a single drop. And then he does this for 2 hours. He comes back to the owner of the home, and he's like, okay, while you were focusing on the oil, did you pay attention to my Persian tapestries? Did you see the art that I had laid out? And he's like, no. He's like, okay, go again. This time, take a look around. Well, he comes back, and then he's like, uh-oh, I spilled the oil because I was looking around. And he's like, so the key is to take a look around, but remember the oil. And to me, that's a balance of stopping to smell the roses and remembering your responsibility. And so I think that the journey is even more important than the objective, in my personal opinion. So I have a lens of fun first, and responsibility fits naturally into that.
Yeah, getting there is part of the fun.
Okay.
That's like
That's
my
right. That's
life.
right.
My life in travel. Like, I love a road
Yes.
trip, and I'm like, the road tripping part is just as fun as where you're eventually gonna get to.
Oh, yes. I love a road trip. Let's go, Nikita.
Yes, let's go. I am so down. Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Have you? What was your last road trip destination? Where was your last one to?
Oh man, my last road trip was moving from Kentucky back home to Texas, I think. So I mean, driving
Oh.
anywhere in Texas is a road trip in itself, but I'm actually planning another one moving from Texas to California. So
Yeah, I love California. All right,
You
before we
been?
get too far
Yes,
down,
yes.
too far down that. Yeah.
Too much fun, not enough oil. I got you. Yeah.
There we go. Exactly. I gotta bring it back.
Yeah.
So we talked to our junior hosts earlier, but in general, just when you've kind of started hearing some of the reactions from kids who've read the book, have there been any reactions that have kind of surprised you?
The fact that kids were even interested in it at all surprised me, because like I was concerned I would have a more apathetic audience, because I just it hurts my heart. Like, I see a lot of kids that like they don't understand the spark in life. Like, it's almost like an art that's dying. And so to see kids with passion, like, that was the most surprising and the most relieving thing to see, for sure.
Absolutely. One thing that I was kind of surprised about is the story of adoption was very light. It wasn't something that was like overtly mentioned or said aloud, but the kids noticed and they picked up on it right away, and they had questions about
That's
the
true.
adoption component, and I was like, oh.
That's true. And
Yeah.
I love the inquisitiveness, the inquisition. I don't know. I just love that they're digging deeper and asking questions that I didn't cross my mind until, yeah, until they brought it up. Like, I knew it was a theme, but to see
Yeah.
that they're like, I want to unpack this, that's fantastic.
Absolutely. So, when you think about parents and teachers or caregivers reading this with kids, are there any sort of conversations that you're hoping that the story will open up for them, either at home or in the classroom?
I feel like I had a different set of answers for that prior to meeting with our journalist today. But my answers based on our journalist is like, I hope that they continue unpacking, like, it's one thing to be like unpacking questions about adoption, and then like it speaks to Mummy's comment of people mock what they don't understand. And so I hope it is a foundation for building understanding, which is it's through questions like they were doing. And then I just hope, even among their own peers, I hope they ask a lot more questions from each other.
There's this concept of different that runs throughout the whole story. But by the end, instead of being something isolating, it becomes something that's really beautiful instead of being shameful. Is there anything that message means to you personally?
Oh, that one struck. That means to me, I have gotten 1,000 no's, but the right yes meant everything to me. I think it happens with my friendships where the ones that have stuck were the ones that were meant to stick, you know? And it's not that the people before weren't important. It's just, you know, there's something about feeling at home that you start to understand as you get older that a smaller circle is more important than being friends with everybody, because that small circle understands you like no other, and in the most challenging moments of your life brings you back to center and reminds you of exactly who you are. And I can't tell you how many times I've like fallen off of my feet, and it's my best friends and my family that have like reminded me of who I am and picked me back up. And then also in the job setting, like the job market is insane right now. And again, 1,000 no's or 1,000 jobs that I've had that I've said, maybe this isn't the right thing for me. But meeting an individual such as Bera, it felt like the right yes. You know what I mean? Like I was far less than confident in that interview. I was like, "Oh, I messed this up. Like I'm just not feeling myself." And he saw through that anyways. And it led us to this moment, and it's really special for me. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Finding the right people is so important in all aspects of life. Who you're friends with, who you date, all of the things.
Oh, yes.
Your
Oh,
circle
yes.
matters.
Oh, yes. And, you know, like, a lot of people talk about how, like,
One thing that-
adult topic. Oh, I'm sorry. I think our connection lapsed.
No, you go ahead. Go.
Oh,
Yeah, go
well,
ahead.
when you said people you date, I was just so inspired by that, because it's like, yes, you know, we might not be talking about it now as their kids. It's something to think about though in the future, you know, like, so finding
Yeah.
belonging is so important, and including your partners. So thank you, Nikita.
Absolutely. And I do feel like it's your childhood relationships that help prepare you for choosing healthy adult ones, right? You know how you do and don't want to be treated based on how you were or were not treated as a child.
Yes, I have a million people that I can dedicate, but one in particular would be my best friend Davon, because that is the that is my childhood best friend. That is exactly what's happened with us, is we've grown to
Yeah.
understand ourselves growing into women, and have like now navigated excruciatingly challenging relationship things. So I just want to give her a shout out there, because yes, that has been one of the
Yes.
most important
Give her
friendships in my
flowers.
life.
I
Yes,
love it.
she says that all the time. Yes, that's so cute. Yes, Davon, here's your flowers.
um, there are children's books that have stayed with us for years. Was there a book from your childhood that made you feel safe or seen or understood or comforted?
Uh, again, before this, when I was looking over the questions, I had a different answer for this, where I was like, you know, I wasn't really too big into books as a kid. I was more into film and everything. But mentioning it now, I think Stella Luna was one that
Mhm.
actually really stuck with me, and it was again like that motherly presence. But one thing
Yeah.
I still wanted to say is that more than books, more than any media, the ones that made me feel the most understood and seen were actually my family. Um, and it was because of how imperfect we all were. It, like, I don't know, they just understood me better than a lot of people did. And they still do.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's really special to have your your people, your people
Mhm.
that have, wrapped their love around you for your whole life. So that's
Yeah.
really sweet.
Yes, I'm very
what's
grateful.
lighting you up right now? What are you super excited about that's coming down the line for you?
Oh, well, as far as The Lonely Ghost, I'm excited to have it as a completed book. We got our first copy in, and it was a major hiccup. That was a little bit
No.
it was a little bit sad. Yeah, and so we're gonna get that fixed and then get it shipped back out and everything. But to see it completed is going to be like the highlight of my life, I think. And then to see the completed version in kids' hands, in my little sister's hands. But other than that, I'm excited because we're working on a video game at Mentor Promise. So that is super cool. And then um just in life, really just soaking up as much family time and friend time as I can before starting a new chapter in my own book.
Amazing. Well, one final question before I let you go. If you could leave one guiding thread for young readers who feel either misunderstood or out of place, what would you want them to remember?
Don't take stuff too seriously. Don't get too caught up in your head and take your road trips. Don't miss out on fun, but remember the oil.
There's something magical about the way children's stories can tell the truth gently. Sitting with Angel Patterson, you're reminded that stories about mummies and ghosts really aren't about monsters at all. They're about us, about the fear of being different, the courage it takes to be kind, and the families we build through love instead of sameness. At Threads of Voices, we believe that storytelling helps children and adults alike imagine a more compassionate world, one where empathy matters more than appearances, and where every child deserves to feel like they belong. Our podcast sprang from Mentora Promise, a nonprofit born in New York City where children and families facing housing instability find space not just to rebuild their lives, but to reclaim their voices.
Thanks for listening.
Be sure to follow our podcast.
See you next time.
Until then, keep finding the threads that connect us all.